From going back to the team that kickstarted his career, to how some people think this move could actually end up hurting the guy. Daniel Ricciardo's finally back, and his return has taken over the F1 world. In fact, fans can't help but call it a full circle moment. Here's the thing. In 2023, Ricciardo's going to be racing for AlphaTauri Hungary, Red Bull's sister team. From 2012 to 2013, he drove for Toro Rosso, which then had its name changed to AlphaTauri in 2020. Then, from 2014 to 2018, the Aussie drove for the main team, winning 7 races for them. Cue Max Verstappen stepping up to the plate in 2016, and he was as cutthroat as they come. There were constant on-track battles between the two, and some of them even led to actual crashes. One thing became clear to the Honey Badger soon enough. This was Max's team now. On top of that, Red Bull was having a lot of reliability problems with its power unit at the time, so he decided to move to Renault. Was the team as good as Red Bull? No, but would Danny have the chance to be the first driver there? Probably, yeah. You know what, though? Remember how I just mentioned that Red Bull was having issues with its power unit? Well, guess who made their engines? Renault. So his reliability problems continued even after the major move. Despite that, he managed decent positions in the Drivers' Cup. Daniel scored a P9 in 2019, which was meh at best, but he scored a P5 in 2020, which made up for it. Considering he bested drivers from Ferrari and Red Bull, this Danny was in a good place. Still, instead of sticking with the team and staying consistent for once, he very publicly left them for their rivals, McLaren. Now that's when I'd say it all went downhill for the Honey Badger. Let's be real, McLaren was a horrible team. 2021 and 2022 were horrible seasons for the guy, and he was constantly bested by his much younger teammate, Lando Norris.
Deja vu. Anybody? So what did the Woking-based outfit decide to do? They decided to do away with him before he had a chance to publicly leave a team for once. At that point, he was offered a seat at Haas and Williams, but Ricciardo was hell-bent on driving with a top-tier team. So he decided to join Red Bull as a reserve, instead of just driving a bottom-of-the-grid car. Now that he's in Red Bull's junior team all over again, fans are saying his career's come to a full circle. While the driver spent 2023 doing social media and marketing work, building his rapport in the F1 world, other things were happening in the background that really helped him out too. For one, Nick de Vries was performing horribly. Nick was an AlphaTauri driver and an F1 rookie. He raced 10 times without scoring a single point. Isn't that surprising? The guy who scored in the one shot he got driving a Williams couldn't score a single point in 10 races. Even Yuki Tsunoda managed 2 points, and he's as crazy as they come. It was clear that his time in the sport was limited. At the same time, something else was going on too. You guessed it, Sergio Perez's terrible performance. Red Bull's second driver, Sergio, hadn't been doing too well either. Is he P2 in the championship right now? Yes, he is. Still, he's almost 100 points behind his teammate Max, and he's barely ahead of Aston's Fernando Alonso or Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton. That's a problem, guys, because the guy's in a freaking RB19, the newly designed rocket ship. You put any driver in that car, and they just have to do well. Despite that, the Mexican keeps struggling. This is exactly why folks have been asking for him to be fired in favor of Daniel. Now, let me make one thing clear. That won't be happening, at least not anytime soon. Checo's locked in till the end of 2024. From 2025 onwards, though, who knows? I mean, think about it. At the British Grand Prix, Perez was knocked out in the early stages of qualifying. If that isn't bad enough, wait till you hear this. This was the 5th race in succession that he started outside the top 10. Are you seriously telling me that the guy in the best car can't even crack the top 10? I can already hear y'all saying that he made up for it by finishing P6. Yeah, he did gain a lot of places, but he was in the fastest car on the grid. At that point, anything that's not on the podium is an embarrassment. You know what? I can't explain this as well as Mark Webber did, so just listen to what he has to say. Anyone can gain positions in the races. I can do that too, even though I'm an old fart now. So, here's Red Bull's problem. They have two teams on the grid, and the number 2 drivers for both teams are doing terribly. They can't fire one because he's under contract. So, they decided to fire the other. Yeah, Danny's fans are having a field day out there because Ricciardo is all set to replace De Vries. He's all set to make a sensational return to F1 at the upcoming Hungarian Grand Prix. And no, this isn't a one-time thing. He's going to be driving for AlphaTauri for the rest of the season. It's obviously because of what happened at Silverstone. You see, Danny drove the Red Bull's RB19 for the first time in a Pirelli tire test. He did so darn well that a lot of folks on the team were super impressed. Franz Tost, AlphaTauri team principal, says that he's super pleased to welcome him back into the team. He also says that the guy's got amazing driving skills, and since he knows everyone on the team, his integration into it will be a lot easier and straightforward. The guy also says that the team will benefit quite a lot from his experience as an 8-time race winner. Looks like the guy manifested the hell out of this, because no matter what anyone believed, he was always confident that he's going to make his way back to the grid. Did you know the best part? He's making a comeback at the track where he scored his second ever F1 win. Now guys, before you get too ahead of yourselves, hiring and then firing De Vries shows a serious Red Bull problem. It was started in 2022 when Alex Albon's appendix got all messed up. He was called on to replace him, and in the one race that he drove, he scored points. That performance impressed Helmut Marko, and he jumped the ship, hiring the guy. The thing is, at the time, he could have gone for Mick Schumacher or any of Red Bull's own juniors, but he didn't, and that impulsive decision started creating a problem. To pick the guy to drive on a whim was bad enough, but to drop him just a few months into the season is baffling too. 'Cause let's be real here. What did they expect? Did the team really expect the guy to be so good that he's going to outperform a third year? And that too before the summer break. AlphaTauri's team boss, Franz Tost himself, believes that a driver needs several years to adjust to F1. This goes to show that he wasn't the one making this decision. On top of that, this isn't the first time Red Bull's done that. When Ricciardo left the team, Red Bull had a constant revolving door of drivers, who they kept promoting and demoting from AlphaTauri until they settled on Checo. On top of that, Red Bull's passed over some junior talents to fill a spot in AlphaTauri twice. I mean, take a look at Liam Lawson. He's a 21-year-old junior driver who competes in the Super Formula Championship with Team Mugen. This guy's been snubbed 2 times. Okay, one thing makes sense. They want him to complete his Super Formula title bid. And at the same time, they want to evaluate Ricciardo for the leading team. Even then, these decisions by the team are nothing but a no-confidence vote in its own junior program. And coming back to Daniel Ricciardo, this move can actually be really bad for him. Yeah, right now, everything seems perfect. He's going to race for AlphaTauri, he's going to prove what he's made of, and then he's going to take Checo's seat at Red Bull. This is exactly what he and his fans want, right? But here's the thing with that, that's not even going to happen. Because you know why. AlphaTauri's got a horrible car. I mean, in 2023, they're even struggling with brakes. So when his car doesn't do well, it'll shatter his confidence and you might end up seeing the McLaren Ricciardo, not 2018 one. But the guy did say he's never going to drive for a bottom-of-the-grid team. So the fact that he's now driving for AlphaTauri means 2 things. First of all, he's reconsidered. Well, okay, fair enough. The second thing, though, is that he knows something we don't. He's got a guarantee that if he does well, he's going to get promoted to Red Bull. Now we'll have to wait to see if that happens in 2025, or whether the team will break Checo's contract to bring him in 2024. Because the 2024 thing doesn't only depend on Danny's performance, but it also depends on Checo's. And there you have it. From how some people think this move could actually end up hurting the guy, to going back to the team that kickstarted his career. That was on Daniel Ricciardo's Finally Back.